We've seen a real mixture of youth and experience. As Charlie Large looks a double 16, and that's exactly how you want to start the day.
That might sum up this match for him.
38.
For the match. And it's a colossal performance from Large.
Charlie Large.
It's a 4-0 victory, and that's exactly how you want to start the day. That was a mega performance from young Charlie. 100.20 average. That's what he's all about. Fantastic on the outer ring. Gino Voss is thinking, what on earth just happened there? Superb darts from Charlie Large. Next up, it's Rhys Colley against Robbie King.
A double
Robbie
14.
require 8.
He's a flicker. Now it's a silky smooth finish for King. He'll want to put this to bed now.
Game,
It's
shot,
majestic
and
from King. It's a 4-0 start for the Aussie. Be absolutely over the moon to be on to 10 points now. His challenge is up and running today. The stats were reduced a little bit with him missed darts at a double there, but Robbie King is only interested in the 2 points. He moves on to 10, and he says to Dan Reid and Lewis Gurney, over to you, boys. They're up next after this short break.
Lewis, you require
Dan Reid or indeed anybody else to breach that top 2.
Game, shot in the first leg. Lewis Gurney.
Top match. He goes where he knows. Double 18.
Game,
and he pins
shot,
it
and
to win 4-1 and to take a huge leap towards qualifying for the Saturday session here at the Super Series. Thumping win against his rival to get one of those top 2 spots in Dan Reid. He puts a big gap between the pair of them. 92.3 the average, 4 out of 6 on the doubles. Lewis Gurney defeats Dan Reid by 4 legs to 1. Coming next, Robbie King takes on Charlie Large.
Charlie requires 64.
Can he tie it up?
He'll stay there for 2-2.
Game, shot in the fourth leg. Charlie Large.
He's on Robbie King. He's only going to get 1 dart at a double, as long as he doesn't kiss that first dart. This is a big ask, because does he have to move? Or if you ever want to look at, not once has he took his eyes off that target.
Game, shot in the fifth leg. Robbie King.
Is the dart of the week for me. Charlie goes to the hockey double for a double dart players like. And that is a stupendous performance from Charlie Large. Backs up his 100 average in the first game and makes this Group C very, very interesting once again. Nothing to separate them throughout that 7-leg thriller, but it's Charlie Large who once again averages over 91, 40% on the outer ring, and that 74 finish being his biggest finish there. A superb performance from the young man. Follow that, Lewis Gurney. You've got your opportunity against Gino Voss next.
Lewis, you require 75.
Should look at treble 17.
Game, shot on the second leg.
Yeah, good spot, Chris. That's not nice. He might go centre of the board there, and this is frustration. Perfect marker.
Game, shot on the sixth leg. Gino Voss.
Blow this group wide open.
Again, just regripping, refocusing, re-aiming.
Game, shot, and
altering
Gino Voss.
The destiny in this group. Lewis Gurney was looking like he was moments away from effectively putting himself through, but instead it's now wide open, and Dan Reid is the big beneficiary of that one. He's going to take on Rhys Colley next, and if he beats him, he'll move within 2 of the top 2, Robbie King and Lewis Gurney, who's just been beaten 4-3 by Gino Voss.
And you require 85.
He's finding that treble 20 with ease right now, Rhys. Just a case of sorting his doubles out now. It's bullseye for Reid.
Game, shot on the third leg.
Absolutely sensitive.
And you require 20.
6.6 becomes 5.5, and in 5 legs, the job is done.
And a match.
Rhys Colley in that match had 18 darts at double, but Dan Reid hit 4 from 10 in an all-important win for him. And you can see Colley scored very, very well. 11 140s in the game from him, but the doubling was disastrous for Rhys Colley, and that win for Dan Reid puts him firmly back in the picture in terms of finishing in the top 2. Reid beats Colley by 4 legs to 1.
I hope not, but I think he will. Well, he did on the last occasion. Maybe he's learned from that. Incredibly, Willie James double, Glenn Durrant then waxes lyrical for about 20 minutes in. Noyle stay on double 18, 10 points also, so we won't write him off, especially the way he's played today. He's been marvellous.
This will be marvellous.
Game shot
wow.
the third leg, Lewis
Magical.
Gurney.
Chance. Robbie King is the one that's benefited from that miss. Can he capitalise?
Well, he's going to have to ask us to dismantle the wall if he moves any further to the right.
No score.
Always going to be very difficult because you're throwing
Lewis
from a bigger distance.
16.
And there's the smile on the face, the relaxation for Lewis Gurney. Doesn't look as tense this time. It's comprehensive from Lewis Gurney. That's a huge result in respect to Lewis Gurney, and also the legs difference could play a massive part. He's got one toe in the qualification for Lewis Gurney. As we look at the tail of the tape, there just wasn't a Robbie King that we've witnessed the past couple of days. That's his most disappointing display so far, but all credit must go to Lewis Gurney, and that 1-5-1 finish was the highlight. Lewis Gurney moves to 12 points. Follow that, Charlie Large. Reece Colley there up next.
Big moment for Charlie Large because it's a miss from Colley, who is starting to falter with the finishing a little bit again. And if Large can pick his pocket, he's got a chance, and he will get a go at a double.
It's a little target for Large.
Game shot on the third leg, Charlie Large.
But he hits it with real authority, and that was the dart he's been thrown today. He's been a little disappointing this match so far.
Dan, you require 78.
Do not miss the 18. Treble is the bonus. 2 darts at double 12. And that's a classy
Game shot on the
finish.
fourth leg, Dan
Fancied
Reed.
that after that first dart. The treble 18 was a brilliant dart.
Now you require 81.
Oh, what a shot that is. Well, don't write him off.
Now is the time for Gino Voss. He's looking down, so it's all about the 19s. He needs another one of them. Not this time.
58. Dan, you require 25.
So to win it, an all-important encounter. Double 5. And Reed
15.
has fluffed his lines. Is it slipping
Gino,
away? Robbie King
56.
will be in the practice room jumping for joy if Gino Voss can hit this. But if he does hit this, he'll keep his own hopes alive.
There's the composure. There's the flyer.
Game
And Voss
shot.
is staying alive.
Gino Voss.
That is another huge 4-3 victory. Did that very simply to Lewis Gurney, and you can see the evident disappointment there for Dan Reed. He's still got a lot to play for and needs to forget that game very quickly. Which Gino Voss, was just quietly but effectively getting on with his work, was a very consistent performance. And look at that checkout ratio, 4 from 7. That was a big reason that Gino Voss won that game by the full 7 legs. And next up, it's Charlie Large against top of the table, Lewis Gurney.
64.
Great marker.
Game shot on the second leg, Lewis Gurney.
Absolute raw talent, Lewis Gurney.
Charlie, you require 170.
Can he find the great? Well, he's got a chance. Go for it, Charlie.
Game shot on the fifth leg, Charlie Large.
Almost like he heard you, Glenn.
Charlie requires
5
32.
games played will still not be solved with 5 left to go. As Large
shot and the match, Charlie
defeats
Large.
Lewis Gurney, the league leader, and just stops him, delays his progress to finals night. Gurney will hope it is just a delay rather than the start of destruction. But Charlie Large, who's produced some good stuff today, keeps his faint hopes alive with a 4-2 success over the league leader. And now it's over to the chasing pack, Robbie King and Dan Reed, in an enormous encounter next. Previous match, he missed the dart of the bullseye to take it. This time he gets a dart at double 5. And this time he does take it.
Dan Reed.
And a rare release of aggressive emotion there from Dan Reed.
Dan, you require
both on 3-figure finishers.
Enjoying this game. Has to go for 11 bull this time. Once again, Robbie doesn't look.
Game shot.
He's not going to like the sound
Dan
of
Reed.
Justin Bradshaw, referee, as that bullseye slams in there.
Dan, you require 16.
For the match. And his
Game
victory for
shot.
Reed.
And a match.
very patient
Dan Reed.
performance, very professional, very clinical when he needed it most. Very disappointed Robbie King leaves the stage there. He'd be looking at the numbers, the table, but in the end, Dan Reed now has the ascendancy. A nice, solid 91.3 average. Just look at that checkout ratio, 4 from 5, complemented with that 1-2-1 highest finish. Great job there from Dan Reed. And next up, it's Rhys Colley against Gino Voss.
We'll have one contender. Gave it a go.
79.
Now he might be
Rishi require 4.
getting ready to go home because
Game
Colley
shot. And a match.
has
for Rhys
defeated
Colley.
Gino Voss, and in doing so denied the Dutchman a chance at making it through to finals night. A 4-1 success for the man at the bottom of the pile who suddenly is causing chaos in Group C. He gets the victory, takes his own points tally to 6, and Voss is therefore eliminated. Coming next then, Dan Reed's chance to make it through. He takes on Charlie Large.
Further away as Whitlock came back to win 5-4.
Dan Reed, first focus will be on the win, but the margin of the victory, and he
Game
can
shot
get
on
the
the
job
first
done
leg.
in
Dan
this match,
Reed
and that is the way to start it.
require
The
58.
pendulum would swing again because Reed would then throw to qualify if he hits tops. If he hits double 10.
Game
and he
shot on the
manages
fourth
to do
leg.
the
Dan
latter.
Reed.
Dan Reed for qualification to Saturday night. It's 2 darts, a double 11. It's
Game
supremely
shot.
good from
And a
Dan
match.
Reed. A
Dan
big
Reed.
victory over Charlie Large. You can see what it means to him. That 4-1 scoreline quite simply means Dan Reed qualifies for Saturday night. He'll be absolutely delighted. He's been ups, he's been downs, but he's through. And for Charlie Large, it's been a very, very good week. He's learned so much. He's a young man, will only get better. Follow that, Lewis Gurney. It's now over to you against Rhys Colley up next. Will he join Dan Reed in Saturday night's final?
Game
Yes,
shot on the
he
fourth leg.
will.
Lewis Gurney. Lewis, you require 106.
And that is the end.
Shot. And a match.
4-1 win
Gurney.
for Lewis Gurney, who tops Group C, beats the man at the bottom, Rhys Colley. Gurney goes through a thumping 4-1 victory to seal his spot. There you see the numbers. Colley again struggling on the doubles in that one, but Gurney was very adept in that department. A 106 checkout to seal the deal. He goes through alongside Dan Reed and at the expense of Robbie King, who will be on stage next against Gino Voss.
Our journey home, and then off to Annan tomorrow. So if you're anywhere around there, double 10 for Gino Voss.
Game shot on the first leg. Gino Voss.
Very impressed with Gino Voss this week.
Robbie, you
70
require
in game.
170.
Something to savour? A Super Series souvenir? And
Game
King
shot.
crowns
And a
his
match.
campaign
Robbie King.
with a wonderful 170 checkout. The big fish finish, but it finishes in despair for Robbie King. A glorious defeat in terms of being unable to qualify from this group, but a glorious victory in his final game of the group. Sealed with a 170 and a brilliant Great Escape comeback as Robbie King defeats Gino Voss by 4 legs to 3.
Well, that's an absolutely incredible way to finish, that is for sure. Now, Robbie King won the battle, didn't win the war, but do you know what? If you're going to depart, finish with a big fish.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the comeback was one thing because it wasn't the same Robbie King up there. He didn't have that bounce in the step. He didn't want to engage with the chat. And then with 170 to go, it was a bit like, come on, Robbie, go and do it. But what a way to finish. What a conclusion.
Which is a bit of an irony because him and Jared Cole were in the practice room last week and they're having a bit of banter about the 170s.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable couple of weeks for the 170 finishers. But yeah, what a day, what a Group C. Thoroughly enjoyable. Delighted with the two that's qualified. But you've got to feel for Gino Voss, you've got to feel for Robbie King as well. But I think they deserve to qualified.
Well, let's reflect on what we've seen today then at the Live Lounge. And it has been a crazy day here on the South Coast. And it sees the man who, well, he was at the summit overnight, Robbie King. Well, he has failed to qualify his way through. And those are the patterns of results that has seen that happen. But let's look back at the story of the day and begin with Lewis Gurney, the player who finishes top of the pile, because he didn't actually know that he was through. He thought he was through, and then didn't know what he actually then had to do, because he saw Dan Reed up here on the balcony in the same position that we are now, and he was wondering, well, if he's through, am I not?
Yeah, well, what you couldn't see behind you is what myself and Chris Murphy could, and he was really confused, and he was scratched. So he didn't know if he'd qualified. Did he need to win a leg? He didn't realise that. If only he knew he needed 3 legs. And I said, in the end, that might have been a good thing, because he looked relaxed. I think he thought he was through. I think his opponent thought it was through. But when that 3rd leg, it was a relief all round. And like I say, he's a great addition to the final.
Well, let's see some of his best moments from the day then, shall we? Because, well, this 151 against Robbie King earlier on in proceedings as well. He absolutely railroaded Robbie. And at this point in the day, this is a massive scrap at the top.
Yeah, I didn't expect this game to be so one-sided. But like I said, he's only been playing his B game. And I'd heard really good things about Lewis Gurney, the way he's dominating the ADC and the qualification. He's doing really well at county darts as well. So, yeah, maybe, just maybe. I know he's got family and friends coming, because they've already messaged me. So he could have a big part to play come tomorrow night.
Not that he knew, but this was the moment that sent Lewis Gurney through in the end, this 25 combination against Reece Colley. And as you say, he's got better as the week's gone on. He was mentioning up here how much he's learned over the course of the last 5 days.
Yeah, just no reaction with that 25 finish, so we knew then that he did not know what the scenario was. But in the end, I think that was a good thing. He didn't have to overthink anything. He just played darts, he qualified, job done.
And he said he hasn't even played his B game yet.
Yeah, interesting that he said that. And like I said, it's easy to sort of, get ahead of yourself there. You don't have to win tournaments with your B game. Just a bit like similar to a lot of the players who qualify. If he can provide his brilliance in moments on Saturday night, he's in with a shout.
Right, let's have a look at Dan Reed. He was the other player that went through. Now, he had to play catch-up to Gurney and King in the end, but we knew that individual performances yesterday were very good, and he kind of kept that level in today.
Yeah, like I said, he didn't panic. I think patience was key. It was a term I used. He's very solid, and in fact, my co-commentator Chris Murphy feels he could go on and win it on Saturday night. He normally brings an army of fans down, despite the fact they've got like a presentation night as well. But he's got the skill set, and he's got the bottle. That double 11 there was a beauty, and Charlie Large, who started the day tremendously well, was put to the sword.
Yeah, that was what sent Dan Reed through in the end. We're talking about Large. Well, we got the Charlie Large fish, because, well, we've just been treated to a fishing frenzy here at the Super Series, and he really didn't have a clue whether he should have gone for this or not.
Oh, I'll let him know at the end. About this point, you can hear some commentators shout, "Go for it, Charlie." But yeah, it's been a good day for Charlie Large. I really saw the best of him. Very similar to the first time he was here. Yeah, the first day he sort of just getting his bearings, and the second day he produced the goods. He had a good day today.
Right, so this is how it all ends up as far as Group C is concerned. Lewis Gurney heading through 14 points in the end. Dan Reed, by virtue of legs differences, himself into the finals. Highly competitive group, and Reece Colley being bottom probably magnifies how that was so. So we now know half of our finalists for tomorrow evening's red carpet occasion here on the South Coast. We knew Jerome Mielke was through courtesy of his success in Group A on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now we can confirm that Lewis Gurney and Dan Reed is going to join him, and we're going to know 3 more by the end of play tonight in Group B. We'll talk about Group B in just a second, Glenn, but already looking at those 3 players already through, there's an opportunity there for somebody.
Oh, definitely. I think it's wide open and a real mixture of youth and experience as well, and I think that's what I'm really looking forward to. Robert Thornton, hopefully he qualifies as the big headline act, but there's a lot of young guns out there who want to dethrone these oldies. Yeah, it's just going to be a fantastic night for sure.
Right, Group B is going to be our action this evening, and I'll tell you what, if it's anything like last night, we have got quite the cracker for you, that is for sure. This is the table then. At the halfway point in the group, it's Brett Claydon, the shredder, who leads the way halfway through proceedings. Conor Hinahan and Robert Thornton also on 6 points. Mark McGeaney, well, he got off to a good start, but he's going to have to find some results tonight. And Martin Wolfie Adams, the 3-time champion of the world, languishing at the bottom of the table at a point to his name.
Yeah, Claydon really did rip it up there. I mean, we didn't realise what his nickname was, the shredder there, but he never got a mention last night. He never got a mention. There he is, sits top of the table, and that's just a awakening call for many of us who thought he was a Pro Tour card holder up until 2022. He's a cracking player, he is, and he rightly deserved at the top there. Conor Heenan was very special at times. He was an absolute joy to watch. I think he's got the X factor. And then Robert Thornton just did a very professional job. I think he let Conor Heenan say, go on, you have the headlines. You beat me in that first game. And then he came back with 3 big wins. It's going to be a tough ask for McGeaney and Adams to qualify.
So that is the action tonight from 10 p.m. on Sporty Stuff TV and on the Modus Super Series YouTube channel. So please do join us for that. But that is it for us as far as the afternoon session is concerned. Myself, Glenn, Chris Murphy will be back with you from 10 p.m. this evening for the culmination of our action from Group B. But as far as Group C is concerned, well, Lewis was the dude and Dan was the man.